Good evening. It's an honor and privilege to present the Immigrant Rights Award to Marisa Franco. While I have not had the opportunity to work directly with Marisa, my friends that have the utmost respect for her as a strategist, tactician, and coalition builder. And perhaps even more noteworthy than her deep commitment across movements is her unwavering focus to keep those directly impacted by justice at the forefront in leadership in the fight for their own liberation. This commitment and focus has been consistent in her work to stop deportations, for low-wage workers, for LGBTQ rights, and empowering the Latino and immigrant community. Please help me in congratulating and welcoming Marisa Franco.
What's up, everybody? It's getting late. I'm ready to hit the bar. So when Matt Foreman from Haas called me about this award, he told me that he had heard I was a badass dyke. I was like, wow, what a criteria. I kind of like that. I come to you all from Phoenix, Arizona, from the desert. I like to think of myself as a movement rolling stone. Most recently, I've helped lead the Not One More deportation campaign and founded Mijente. I would be remiss not to name organizations who took a leap of faith, LGBTQ organizations, to co-build this campaign. I'm talking about Transgender Law Center, Familia, Get Equal, and Southerners on New Ground. I want to send extra special love to Chicago organizations, Black organizations, who are on the front lines in this city, who are calling on us and calling for solutions that invest in Black future rather than murderous policing. Some of you might have heard about the Not One More campaign, first through the actions and words of Jenny Set Gutierrez, who spoke out as a trans undocumented woman of color at a White House LGBTQ fandango, where she was told by a gay leader, "This is not for you." She was told that it was not for her, although she stood there from a lineage of all of our community, who made a way when there was no way, who bashed back when they had to, and who provided political and spiritual cover so the rest of us could come ahead. When we started Not One More, it was not popular. Leaders in our own movement told us that comprehensive immigration reform was the only way, that stopping deportations was not in the cards, except perhaps for dreamers. But we tried anyway. See, movements in this country have come alive because so many people simply can't wait anymore. And when we seek to enter movement and we converge, these spaces are sacred because they form sanctuary. Sanctuary is a spiritual stance and recognizes that oppression is trying to fill our lives with fear and blood and daily numbing horror, but not here. Not in my home, not in my bed, not in my movement. Sanctuary makes a ring of fire around our people. Sanctuary grants us a taste of reprieve and protection so we can gather the strength to go out and fight again. Sanctuary is our duty. And I must say, after I heard that Immigration and Customs Enforcement was granted access to this conference temporarily, I understand that they're not invited anymore, but I must speak on it. That they were granted access to bring their PR Band-Aid advances to deporting our community more humanely. It made me wonder, is there sanctuary here? And you know, that makes me feel all kind of ways, I'll be honest, because you see, I'm a movement rolling stone. And I can tell you, things look differently in different places. I can tell you, there are things here that are precious. There is history, there is legacy, there is shared experience across a wide spectrum of human beings. But in the face of such abuse of power and injustice by our adversaries, what do we even mean by words of dialogue and inclusion? A movement space must hold sanctuary. Leaders must discern and consider. And that is why we don't want police up in this space either. Not here, not in our sanctuary, not in our movement. We don't want police, we don't want ICE. If you are undocumented, if you are broke, if you got a record, if you are black, if you are Palestinian, our movement needs you here. I want to be clear, it's not that we demand a utopic political purity where everywhere we step foot. That's not the reality, because the reality is that we know leaving this conference, we face the world as it is, and we know the reality is some of us might not be here again next year at this time. And to forget these sacred things, it gives pause. Because if we can't, y'all, if we can't build Johnny Cash Ring of Fire at a conference, how are we going to hold it down in the streets? How are we going to hold it at the policy negotiating table with agencies whose purpose is to police, incarcerate, and deport us? The way I see it is there's some differences of opinion around here about what this movement is going to move forward and who moves a movement. I can tell you that more and more we will be asked a simple question: what side are you on? I hope that we don't look back and say that we watched. I am not asking you to adopt my rage as your own. A strong movement holds multiplicity, but it is rooted in justice. I am asking you to have our back. I am asking for some of you to consider using your access to make room for new leaders and directly affected people. This is not the time to turn down the volume, it's time to tune in. Beautiful, chosen family, the world is changing by your bravery. And as a freedom fighter, as a woman of color, as a badass dyke, I want to see that power, I want to see that pride exhibit a force that stretches beyond the borders of issue. And for those of you who want to take it to that next level, I look forward to fighting and standing by your side. Thank you.